You know the feeling, right? You're in Singapore, you see the price of a car, and you think to yourself, wait, is that for the car or is that for a BTO? Seriously. So in this explainer, we're going to get into exactly how we got to this point, and it really kicks off with one absolutely wild number.
Okay, look at that. $115,000. And just let that sink in for a second. And remember, that's not even for the car. That is just for the piece of paper, the Certificate of Entitlement, the COE, that gives you the right to own a car for 10 years. So you gotta ask, how on earth did we get here? How did the license become more expensive than the actual vehicle?
And this chart, wow, it really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got our population, now over 6 million people. And on the other, you've got that insane COE price. So the immediate thought is, well, it's simple, right? More people means more demand, so prices go up. It seems obvious. So let's dig into that first.
All right, so let's tackle the obvious suspect first. When prices for anything shoot up, your first instinct is to look at demand. And here in Singapore, on our little island, the most logical place to start is, well, all the new people.
So, that 6.11 million number, it's not all one group. You've got citizens, permanent residents, and a big chunk of non-residents. And here's the interesting part. If you look at where the growth is really coming from, it's that non-resident population. It jumped way faster than the citizen population. That's a whole lot of new folks who might be thinking about getting a car.
And look, this isn't just a blip on the radar. The rate of growth has actually tripled compared to the last 5 years, and people are projecting we could hit almost 7 million by 2030. So, case closed, right? More people, expensive cars, it seems so simple. Or is it?
And I mean, the prices, they definitely look like they're under pressure. Whether you're looking at a small car in Cat A or a bigger one in Cat B, they are all stubbornly stuck way up in that $100,000 territory. But hang on, if it's just a simple supply and demand problem, why doesn't the government just, release more COEs? Well, that's where things get interesting. Because the system, it's built to do the complete opposite.
Yeah, to really get why the price is what it is, you have to get the system. And the entire Singaporean system is built around one single powerful idea: making cars scarce on purpose.
So let's break it down real quick. What is a COE? The simplest way to think about it is a 10-year license to own a car. It's not something you can just buy off a shelf. Nope. It's an auction. The government decides how many are available, and then everyone who wants a car has to fight it out, bidding against each other to get one.
And here it is. This is the absolute heart of the matter. The government's goal is basically zero growth in the number of cars on our roads. Zero. So you've got this rising tide of demand from a growing population, and it's just slamming into this massive, unmoving wall of fixed supply. It's literally the perfect recipe for sky-high prices.
Okay, so we've got the picture now, right? Fixed supply, more people, that explains the pressure. But does it really explain prices getting this crazy? To figure that out, we need to look closer. We have to ask who's actually winning these auctions. Because it turns out, the real story isn't just about how many people there are.
I mean, think about it. In a bidding war, it's not just about wanting something. It's about having the cold, hard cash to beat everyone else. So who are these bidders with deep pockets? Is it your average family that's been saving up for years, or is something else going on here?
And this is where we get to the real dynamic. It's a two-part story. On one side, yes, population growth means more people in the auction room, more competition. But on the other side, you have rising affluence. And what that does is give a certain group of bidders way, way bigger wallets. So it's not just about more people, it's about more people with a lot more money to spend.
And this quote right here, this is the twist in the whole story. It's kind of mind-blowing. Even with these crazy six-figure prices, for some people, the high-income earners, a car is actually becoming more affordable compared to their income. They can throw down a bid that would be completely out of reach for a typical middle-income family and not even blink.
So when you boil it all down, what does it mean? The COE system has basically turned into a battlefield, and the weapon that wins is wealth. It's a textbook economics lesson, really. The final price isn't determined by what the average person can afford. It's set by the maximum amount the richest person in the room is willing to pay.
Naturally, a situation like this gets people talking a lot. I mean, on one hand, the system is doing what it was designed to do: limit the number of cars. But on the other hand, a lot of people are feeling like it's just not fair anymore. So the big question is, can we fix it? And it looks like the government is already exploring some big changes for 2026. One of the really big ideas being thrown around is a total shift in how we think about this. Right now, it's a pure auction. Highest bidder wins. Simple as that. But what if it wasn't? What if the system could be tweaked to give people like, say, first-time buyers or middle-income families a better shot?
And you know the analogy everyone's using, right? It's like an ASDD for cars. We already do this for property with the additional buyer's stamp duty. You pay more tax on your second or third house to cool the market. So why not for cars? Imagine a huge extra charge if you're buying a supercar or if it's the third car for your household. It's an idea that's really catching on.
So here's a look at some of the actual proposals on the table for 2026. They're talking about maybe merging the small and large car categories, Cat A and B. Definitely adding those surcharges for luxury cars. Figuring out what to do with all the new EVs coming in. And then there's a really big one. What if we move to a usage-based system where you pay for how much you drive instead of this massive upfront COE?
So let's bring it all home. That crazy $100,000 COE price tag? It's not just because we have 6 million people now. It's bigger than that. It's what happens when a policy from decades ago, a policy all about creating scarcity, crashes right into the reality of today, a super wealthy, global city with more and more high earners.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. Is this insane cost a feature, not a bug? Could it be that a six-figure COE is just the price you pay? The cost of admission for living in a place like Singapore, a dense, successful, world-class city?